Democracy, the shining ideal of freedom and equality. But wait, did you know one of history's greatest philosophers, Socrates, hated it? Why would the man who dedicated his life to truth and dialogue reject the idea of people governing themselves? Buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the mind of Socrates and his scathing critique of democracy. To understand why Socrates had such a beef with democracy, we first need to understand his world. Athens in the 5th century BCE was a democratic powerhouse. Every free male citizen had a vote, and decisions on war, justice, and policy were made collectively. Sounds great, right? Well, Socrates didn't think so. Should we entrust the running of a city to just anyone, as long as they can shout the loudest or win a popularity contest? To him, democracy wasn't about informed decision-making. It was a dangerous experiment that put power in the hands of the ignorant masses. Here's one of Socrates' most famous analogies. Imagine a ship. Who should steer it? The most experienced navigator, right? But what if instead you handed control to a random group of passengers who knew nothing about sailing? That, Socrates argued, is what democracy does. It puts power in the hands of the uninformed. Socrates believed most people lacked the wisdom, education, and moral virtue to make complex political decisions. To him, democracy wasn't just risky, it was reckless. And then came the ultimate irony. Socrates' critique of democracy got him killed. In 399 BCE, he was put on trial for corrupting the youth and impiety. But let's be real, it wasn't just his ideas that angered the Athenians. It was his constant questioning of their beloved democracy. The unexamined life is not worth living. Yet you would silence me rather than confront your own ignorance. In a democratic vote, 501 citizens condemned him to death. A tragic end, but also proof, Socrates would argue, of democracy's flaws. Socrates feared democracy wasn't about wisdom, it was about manipulation. He warned against the rise of demagogues, charismatic leaders who play on people's emotions rather than reason. Sound familiar? In Socrates' time, the crowd could be swayed by flashy rhetoric. Today, it's viral tweets and polarizing soundbites. Socrates' concerns feel eerily relevant, don't they? So, if democracy wasn't the answer, what was? Socrates believed in rule by the wise, what he called a philosopher king, someone who sought truth and acted with virtue. But, let's face it, even Socrates knew this was more of an ideal than a realistic solution. He wasn't saying democracy was all bad, he just thought it needed safeguards. Education, critical thinking, and moral leadership were his answers to democracy's pitfalls. Socrates' critique of democracy wasn't meant to destroy it, but to challenge us to make it better. He reminds us that democracy isn't just about voting, it's about cultivating wisdom, questioning assumptions, and striving for justice. So, what do you think? Was Socrates right to fear democracy, or was he too cynical? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into philosophy and history.